Hey there, boys and girls. It's Ralph Garman, and you're listening to Talking Codswallop. Good choice.
Hello, everybody. This is Ming Chen from AMC's Comic Book Man. You might know me from the Tell 'em Steve Dave podcast and the I Sell Comics podcast. Listen, I love podcasting. I love talking, but what I really love doing is talking Codswallop.
Hey, I'm Alicia Witt.
I'm Daniel Portman from Game of Thrones. I play Podrick Payne.
I'm Ellipses, and you're listening to the Talking... Okay, I'm Mark Bernard, and you're listening to the Talking Codswallop podcast.
Hey man, it's Kevin Smith, Silent Bob, whose voice you were never used to hearing in the 90s until I started opening it up, man. And that's because I'm a podcaster and you're listening to a podcast, Talking Codswallop, right here, man.
Hello and welcome to this week's Talking Codswallop. I'm James. Am I on my own still? Quite possibly, because, I've been deserted for many, many weeks.
He's not deserted, everyone. I'm back. Probably gave that away with my little giggle there, but yes, I have returned. And just in case you don't know what my name is, because I've been away for so long, it's Gemma. Hello.
Hello, Gemma. It's wonderful to have you back. And I jest when I said I was deserted, but it's lovely to have you back.
No, I know you were, yeah, for comedy value. But yeah, I wasn't going to get into it so early on, but I may as well. But yeah, it's just been, the not the coronavirus, but the lockdown half of it has kind of really, it's got to me emotionally, and I wasn't coping very well. And I put a little post on Facebook. So if you're on our Facebook group, then you will kind of know about this anyway. But if you're a Twitterer or Instagrammer or whatever, then you may not have seen it. But yeah, basically, like, I suffer with depression and just being in lockdown and away from my family, which I know is the case for everybody. But for me, it just hit me really, really hard. And that I couldn't find my normal bouncy pace. So I thought, well, I didn't really want to come onto the podcast and potentially depress everybody at this already depressing time. So I thought probably best if I stay off for a little bit. But also, I did really miss doing it. So, but I did want to say a big thank you to you and Joanne for, and obviously you for doing other interviews as well, and sort of keeping the podcast going while I was having my little mini meltdown.
Well, the main thing is you're better,
yeah.
And obviously, that's the most important thing. But yeah, it's been okay. It's been a pleasure. It's been good the stuff I've been doing with Joanne, and the few extra little interview things I did. But it's great to have you back, and we can be raring to go, or as raring as we can in these these strange lockdown times. What I would say on one thing that you just mentioned about on the Facebook page for people who are on it, to have a look at it. If you're not on it, why you're not on it, and get on and have a look at what we've got on there and on our other platforms and sources as well. Tune in.
Yeah, exactly. And it's so simple to find us as well, because they're all at Codswallop Pod. So just type that into, Facebook, Instagram or Twitter, and you'll be able to find us. And, I made it simple, everybody. So find us.
Yeah, simple and easy to do. So
yeah. So why you not found us? Find us already. Come on now. I'll say anyway. So James, I've had a little, moment. So how have you been since I spoke to you last?
I'm doing all right, actually. It hasn't caused me too many issues. I was on I was doing another podcast. I have cheated on you repeatedly with other women, but I've gone I've sort of like gone a bit different this time. I cheated on you with a man.
Good for you, James. It's about time you came out.
I cheated with you on the Bandflix podcast discussing the Groundhog Day film, and interestingly, the question was asked then, how are you finding things with this lockdown stuff? And I've generally been okay, but you because I can sort of handle my own company without a major problem. But what I have missed is like the idea of going out and maybe eating and seeing films. But I've not been too bad. I had to make a trip yesterday to get some medicine, so that's for a medical reason. That can link into a Codswallop moment.
Okay.
But but no, I'm generally doing okay. I managed to sort of do a distance hello to my dad yesterday, and he's generally all right. He seems to be doing okay. So yeah, that's things are not too bad. But we're in very strange, uncertain times.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing all right, I think.
Good.
I'm doing okay.
I'm glad. And like you said, I'm very good with my own company as well. So that has been the sort of bonus part with this, that I'm quite happy to sit on my own. So it wasn't really that was making me depressed. It was more just that I'm an hour away from my family and I can't just pop over to the wall and just say, hello, speak from the wall to the door sort of thing. To the windows, to the wall. She's back. But also, James, I cheated on you this week.
Yeah.
No, I did.
I know you did. We're in a cuckold relationship, but go on.
With two men. No, I had the pleasure yesterday of recording an episode with Jamie and Tom, and they're from a podcast called Superhero Bar Fights, which I love this podcast. It's such fun. Honestly, such fun. So basically they invited me on and I was a guest and obviously raved about our podcast and raved about you and whatnot, always promoting as always. But it was just fun to sort of take part in their games that they do. And, it's a nice change of pace, isn't it?
It certainly is.
Yeah.
It certainly is.
So that episode comes out on Wednesday. So you probably would have heard it by now because this episode will be coming out on Sunday. So if you haven't listened to that, go back and listen to it on the You Suck network, which is, yeah, I know, it's brilliant, isn't it? Basically, because they've got some US people and they've got some UK people, they called the network You Suck. It's just
I like it.
Perfect, isn't it? But yeah, they've got loads of other shows on there as well, which, they're really good as well. So you should check them out. So there you go. A little bit cross-promoting there for Alex Whiteley, who's the brains behind it all, basically. So, but yeah, I did. I really enjoyed talking to Tom and Jamie. They're good lads. And Tom has promised he's going to start listening to our show as well. So that's good, isn't it?
Good man.
Yeah.
Good man. I mean, I'll try and learn from his example, follow his example, and listen to my own work. But
I did.
It's a slow learning process for me to actually listen to my own work. So.
I wish you would. Numbers would go up a bit. That is something that I've noticed over the last few weeks while we've all been in quarantine or lockdown or whatever you want to call it, that the listener numbers has dropped quite dramatically. But I think it's because people are sort of watching TV more than they're, social and speaking to their loved ones or whatever, which is understandable. But if you're one of those people and you're listening back at this episode and we've all been able to actually get out the door and we're free, we welcome you back. We welcome you back. But why did you desert us in the first place? God damn you.
Well, hopefully we can still provide an interesting content, which I'm sure we can, that will keep people interested. And I suspect when people start going back to work, they'll want to listen to us in the car on the way to or from work to distract them from the madness of normal, in quotation marks, life.
Yeah. Well, actually, it's been quite nice because while I've been off work, I am still working, but I'm working from home. I've been able to listen to sort of podcasts all day, and it's been so nice actually catching up with them. But normally, I listen to them in the car, so fully understand that. So, James, have you got any Codswallop this week? Let's get into it.
Again, nothing too major. Two amusing elements of Codswallop yesterday. So when I had to travel, I had to go for a drive to pick up I actually had to just pick up some medication for myself. I got stuck behind somebody who was driving with extreme fear and braking at every single corner and going really, really slowly. So that sort of impeded my journey.
How did I know that your first Codswallop would be about driving?
Yeah, because it always is. Driving is a bane of my existence. I love it. It's the other sodding road users. But the very interesting thing was I got a text saying, I tried to deliver something to your house from Amazon, and I've not been able to deliver it. And I'm thinking, well, this is nonsense because I've not recorded anything. I've not ordered anything, sorry. So I came back home and found a van outside my house. The guy was there, you this person? Yeah. He said, I've got a delivery for you. I said, but I've not ordered anything. And turns out a couple of my friends had sent me a lovely little present for my house. So I was very touched by that. It's a nice thing for them to do.
Aww.
But it was just these bizarre messages that kept coming up on my phone going, we have a delivery for you. And I'm like, I'm not answering this. It's bullshit. I've ordered nothing. And even when I said to the delivery driver, but I've not ordered anything, he said, it's going to probably be a present. So it's all good.
I love the fact that you didn't instantly think that after you thought, I haven't ordered anything, that maybe somebody sent me something.
No, my paranoia, obviously, stuff being lies was, now this is a scam. This is a scam. But no, it wasn't. It was a nice present from my friends Ian and Amy. So very, very appreciated.
And what did you get? Come on, tell us.
It was a humorous toilet brush for my downstairs toilet.
Is it a naked lady?
No. I'd sent it's our Prime Minister.
You're going to have to take a photo of that, I think.
That's not a problem, I can say. But what had happened is I had a load of work done last year on the house, but I realised I never actually sent the update pictures to people. So I forwarded it on to my friend to say, hey, this is what was done, because he'd been visiting the area when it was up. My house was being sort of ripped apart, so I wanted him to see what it was, and he sent me that brilliant loo brush.
Oh, fantastic.
Brilliant.
Oh, that is such a good present. It's definitely, one up there.
It's so different. That's what I really liked about it. So, yeah it's so different. Have you got any Codswallop?
Yes. I've got a humorous one.
Good, we like humour.
Yes. People who keep updating their Facebook statuses with people who have died.
Oh, yes. Yeah, what bastards, especially the ones that do it for famous people. But what sort of person would do that?
James, I'm going to be calling you Dr. Death from now on, okay? Yeah. Because it seems to be that James is flicking through the obituaries, however you say it, and he's looking up to see who's died this day.
The problem I've now got is that I've trapped myself in this cycle where people are sending me comments like, has nobody died today?
Because and we're not laughing obviously at the people who've died.
No, we're not.
But yeah, it is just the fact that James, literally every day I'm looking at his status. James has updated his status and I'm like, oh good, who's died today?
I'm going to have to wean myself off. I'm going to have to stop looking at Find a Death and things. So.
Yeah, definitely. It's getting to the point that, there's certain people that I sort of recognise their names and things. But then there's other people that I'm like, who the hell is that? So I'm having to Google the people to actually find out who they are in the first place. So yes, that's really my only Codswallop this week. But it's not a real Codswallop, so.
So, do you want to hear a funny story?
Yes, I do.
So, one of the things that's become sort of prevalent in this COVID-19 world is that people are doing a lot of things through, social media stuff, but they're using Zoom a lot.
Yep.
And there was a big thing set up over the weekend, which was by, I think, the Bond Lifestyle website, and they were wanting to run a thing, and it was great. It was all being done for free, and I like Bond, so I was quite interested, where they would have people talk about clothing, music, writing. They even had the author Raymond Benson there, and they had Warren Ringham talk about music, who I've interviewed for the podcast, and they had various other things that had been discussed, like weaponry and whatever. And this was all set up. It was 700 people were going to be attending it, and you could go to a different, I don't understand it, but different room for each thing to see it. And it turns out that they had all these 700 people wanting to go to it, and other, probably even more across the world. They started running it, and some weird sicko started trying to post pornography on it, so they had to shut the entire thing down. It is funny. I actually missed all this because I turned up late to the thing. I couldn't work out why nothing was going on. Well, I couldn't work out why nothing was happening until somebody explained it to me. But but they've said this, haven't they, about Zoom? The problem is that people are it's got, a loop on it where people can hack it if they get the codes to go into it. So yeah, strange stuff. But it's a damn shame. It's funny, but it's a damn shame. Yeah,
for all that hard work that someone's put into it. Yeah. But at the same time, that is quite funny.
It is. It's so truly weird.
I wonder what would have happened if they'd have just carried on. If they decided to just ignore it and see if it just went away. You know how the parents say when you're being picked on at school or whatever, just ignore it and it'll go away. It never goes away, but.
Yeah, I don't think it would have gone away. There's probably a lot to it, because for the severity of whatever this hack is, for the severity of it, it has been actually reported to authorities. Oh. So there's something pretty big to it, I guess. But yeah, I don't think it would have been funny if they gone, don't look at the picture, just ignore what's going on.
Just listen. Well, at least, maybe some people got a kick out of the pictures. You never know.
Yeah.
Maybe those teenagers watching.
Probably. It was just a very strange thing when I was learning what had happened. But yeah, it just shows you've got to be careful. I think the problems it created more issues for the guy who was running it, because it probably could affect his business and other things. So he wanted to just shut it down and sort things out. But yeah.
Aww. It is a shame, though. Like I said, it is, when somebody's put so much hard work into something, and they're offering it out for free, and then somebody comes along and ruins it. I mean, yeah. So it's almost like we should put in a bow chicka wow wow. Bow chicka wow wow. There you go, I did it. That's the porn. The porn bit.
Yeah, that's the erotic section of this recording. See, I don't just do filthy stuff with Joanne, you see, I do it with Gemma as well. It's all spread the love.
I was the OG dodgy one.
Yeah.
But no, last time I recorded actually with you, you called me Joanne, didn't you?
I know. Yeah. That's terrible, isn't it? It's awful. Calling the podcast wife the mistress's name.
I know.
Shocking.
I've birthed this podcast, and then you call me a different name. Oh dear. Right, what should we talk about today then?
What can we discuss? My bloody phone is blowing up now when I'm in the middle of doing a podcast.
Ooh, Mr. Popularity. So what is this infatuation with TikTok all of a sudden? That's what I want to know. That TikTok has been around for a while.
Yeah.
Because I just saw an app for it come up, like a little, click here to subscribe and stuff. Yeah, it's been around for a while, but, since all of this going on, it seems to have become a massive thing. Everybody seems to be doing it. And I'm like, I'm not going to do it personally. But, where does it come from? What is the point of it?
I don't honestly know. I was discussing this with my friend Sean, who we've actually had on the podcast previously. Yeah. Sean, we were having a chat. We were discussing things, and obviously he and I will discuss sort of films, media, things like that. And we were saying how we don't get TikTok either, because it's a limited amount of time, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it seems to be people just dancing or singing along to things or whatever. Yet some people are managing to make money out of this and make like a fortune doing these funny little videos.
Yeah.
Now, I can't work out if it's just that I'm getting older and I don't understand what like teenagers are doing. But
it's not just teenagers anymore. It used to be just teenagers, but now it's like grown-ass people are actually doing it.
Yeah, you're getting celebrities. Is it like Amanda Sodding Holden? Very few people know that is her full name.
Yeah.
But
that's her full name.
Yeah, you get people like Amanda Holden doing, I think, singing or dancing around it, and like people putting out. Because the other one I don't get, and this has been on TikTok, and God, I realize I'm like an old man, is people putting out bins dressed really smartly.
That's crazy.
I ain't putting my suit on to put my bins out. That's not happening.
No. I mean, like I'm getting dressed for work every day, so like not doing it in my pajamas, so I'm kind of in a work mode. But yeah, I mean, some days I really don't want to. I'd rather just sit in my pajamas all day, but I forced myself just for the mindset, But
absolutely.
Yeah, it's been tempting to also crack open a couple of bottles of wine as well. While I've been doing my work.
I think that's how drinking problems begin, though. You start drinking heavily during the day.
Well, yeah, but but I just think, well, I'm not seen here, so it's kind of like, oh, what can I get up to that I don't normally do when I'm at work? Record a podcast. Oh.
But you are right, though, when you said about wearing pyjamas sort of thing, because there'll be some people, and it's whatever floats their boat, will just wear pyjamas all day, but it's, yeah, I think that's a slippery slope. It's a slippery slope into not even bothering to get out of bed.
Yeah.
But yeah, TikTok it's because, as I understand it, it's just a very short burst of video, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's only like 20 seconds, 30 seconds at the most, isn't it? Maybe a minute at the most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listeners, Salty Tadpoles, if you understand TikTok, please school me, because I'm just like, well, both of us are just old and confused on this one. So.
And I liked that pun of school as well. Fish, school.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Always thinking. It's not just a hat rack, this, It does serve at some purpose.
James is using one of my famous phrases there. It's not just a hat rack.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah, TikTok is a strange one. I can't really give you anything on that one, but it seems to keep people happy to a degree.
I suppose that's the thing, isn't it? I don't want to piss on anybody's parade or anything like that, but at the same time, I am trying to get my head around what the point of it is. So yeah, Salty Tadpoles, please let us know if you are one of the people, or if you just know what the point is. You can let us know.
Yeah, please explain to us.
Yeah, we can learn. We're all fuddy-duddies. We're all old. And we can't know what the youngsters are getting up to these days.
I'll tell you, though, when we're just going back to our Zoom conversation, something that I found that's been really cool, become apparent with this lockdown stuff, is you've been getting people on YouTube doing, like, getting people from films together.
Oh, okay.
Old cast people doing like Zoom recordings, talk about stuff. So I got to see a really good one that they did for Back to the Future with members of the cast, and they've done things with like The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and Goonies and other films. So that's been really interesting to see. On the celebrity point, the one thing that I have found slightly annoying, because we can go a bit Codswallopy on this, is the constant barrage of celebrities telling us how hard their life is, where they're being,
oh, I know.
Where they're locked in their huge mansions with no real pressure to do things. And yes, I can appreciate they can find things difficult, but I don't think they do themselves many favours lecturing people on these things.
No, when they haven't seen their East Wing for, a good couple of days. Because, they're in the West Wing right now, Seriously. Get a life, mate. You've probably got tennis court, swimming pool, Yes, okay. To be fair, like, obviously, if everybody's lonely, everybody's lonely. And if there's only like a handful of people, but I suppose in a mansion, there's going to be like the people there, and the cleaners and the chef.
Well,
I assume.
Probably not if COVID's kicked in, but I think the problem they've got to do is, I appreciate they may be feeling depressed, they may be having problems, but it's sometimes probably assessing how difficult, how things will come across to people. The great example is someone like Richard Branson at the moment, who's saying he wants money off the government to fund the Virgin Company when he is worth huge amounts of money.
Yeah.
And it will not do his reputation and his image any good.
His brand, so to speak, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is ridiculous, actually, because he's like a triple billionaire, isn't he, or something ridiculous like that. So he can easily put his hand in his pocket and pay his staff to be off.
Whereas I suspect what will probably happen is Virgin's probably going to end up in a mess because he won't do this because he's already supposedly putting everybody on standby. But this ain't our problem. This ain't our... we ain't got a dog in this fight. So.
We haven't. But yeah, it is ridiculous. Like I'm in here. I'm in a 1-bedroom flat, and the weekends we've got a 4-year-old. He's good as gold, to be fair, but he is 4 and he wants to play and he wants to go out. And
he wants to do stuff.
Yeah, and it can, like with the 3 of us here, it can be quite overwhelming, for probably more for me because I'm sort of not got a child until now, if that makes sense. So it's kind of like trying to get used to having a child around and being in lockdown. We can't go anywhere. Well, we might be able to as from Wednesday, but
yes,
yeah, at least that's an option now, that we could maybe go to a park or whatever. But it's still, it's quite overwhelming. But then, when you hear the celebrities that are in their mansions, but then I suppose they're used to a certain way of life, aren't they? And if they're a real socialite, then being indoors all the time is going to be quite tricky for them as well. So I'm going to have a little bit of sympathy for them, but not much.
We're going to have to show a bit of understanding, obviously.
Yeah.
Just a smidge. Just a smidge, a modicum.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And at least there's Netflix and, I got Disney Plus now.
Oh, how is that? Tell me more, because somebody else had told me about Disney Plus, and I was wondering whether it's worth getting for me or not.
Yeah, well, I'm really enjoying it because it's got all of the Marvel films on there. So, and a lot of them I haven't seen, and we're actually going through the catalogue of, like starting from the beginning sort of thing and moving forward. So that's quite good. I'm really enjoying them. There's obviously good fashion Disney films on there as well. So it's kind of like, Mickey Mouse or, the old style ones, Lady and the Tramp and things like that. So that's nice. But also from like the Star Wars point of view, I haven't watched any of it yet, but there's like The Mandalorian and there's Star Wars and all of those films on there as well. So we were quite lucky because we upgraded Chris's phone. I know two are doing an offer at the moment, which is 6 months free Disney Plus.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. So
the big question I've got for Disney Plus, the ultimate one is, have they put Song of the South on there?
Oh, I don't know. I don't think so.
People, you sell out, you Disney, you sellouts, you've weakened. You should be putting your whole back catalogue on there so people can be singing Zippity Doo-Dah.
Zippity Day.
Keep themselves sane and sanity. Pussies.
Well, I will have a look when I have my lunch break, but at the moment I'm not sure.
I think the chances are about 0.01%
I'm pretty certain,
it'll be on there.
Yeah, I think the racist Disney. I was going to say Flanagan then, but that's not true.
Hey, Flanagan! Oh, that would be a real one to break the news. Walt Flanagan, racist, supports release of Song of the South. Well, Walt does like old flat. He likes the old days. So yeah.
Well, he's not though.
I'll get that. We'll get that on TMZ trending.
Walt will be like, "Oh my God, why am I famous?" All of a sudden?
Yeah, Walt Flanagan says release Song of the South on Disney Plus.
Oh, bless. Oh, that's so silly, but yeah, funny. But so I will definitely check that out and have a look to see if it is on there, but I don't reckon it will be. Have you been watching anything or, I was going to say doing anything, but not really. You can't do anything, can you?
Well, I've been out sunbathing and walking a bit. I sure as hell won't be sunbathing today, looking out the window. But I've been trying to get a bit of exercise and keep reasonably sort of sane and healthy. Watching stuff, all I've really watched is things like the Goldberg, stuff like that. Just stuff that's generally sort of positive and keeps your mind bouncing.
Yeah.
Won't be watching Song of the South, clearly. Or Steamboat Willie, or whatever it is.
Oh, yeah. No, to be honest, I can't really remember it. I know what you're referring to, of course, but I haven't got a clear picture in my mind as to what all of this looked like, if you know what I mean. But it was the Black Crows, wasn't it?
Yeah, there was that sort of stuff, and it was, I mean, it's generally just, it's one of the ones Disney have tried to sweep under the carpet, which I kind of understand, but you can't completely erase portions of history. You've got to keep going, but let's not go down that rabbit hole too much.
No. I was just thinking, what have I been watching? We've been revisiting Breaking Bad.
Oh, very good. Or some of the final bits of the last series of Better Call Saul. That was really good, but yeah. Good choice there, Gem. Good choice.
Well, it was Chris's choice.
Good choice, Chris. Good choice.
I'm happily going along with the ride, definitely. We're already on series 5, so we've literally been binge watching it so much. And yeah, we've obviously been catching up on a couple of films and stuff as well. But there was another film that I was recommended, or through a podcast it was recommended. And it's not a film, sorry, apologies, it's a TV program. And it's basically Korean, but it's dubbed.
Okay, yeah.
And it's dubbed in English, but very, very well. This recommendation came from Tom Stevens, who was one of the guys that I was recording with on the other podcast that I did the other day.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you, Tom, because you said you were going to be listening. So, I'm just seeing if you are. But yes, it's a Korean zombie film. Program.
Oh, I think I've heard somebody mention this, yeah.
Yeah, and it's called Kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
And it is so good. And I got to episode 2, basically. And I haven't gone any further because then we started watching Breaking Bad. But because Chris wants to watch it as well. So we're going to watch it together as soon as Breaking Bad is finished. But it is really, really good so far. And I highly, highly recommend it. So I can't really sort of go into detail about it. But, the zombies are very, very good. And I'd say the first episode you kind of have to kind of get past, like to get through it sort of thing, really, because that episode is a little bit more placid in comparison to the rest of it, if that makes sense.
And is it scary?
Yeah. Well, Tom, what did he say? I think he said something along the lines of, basically he crapped himself. So he also parts where he crapped himself. So it's like real jump scares and things like that. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to watching that actually. And also I noticed as well that some of because the English is done by Korean people, but it's kind of some of their accents when they're in English are actually quite funny because it's like almost like a squeaky voice. But it doesn't kind of fit the character that's on screen, if that makes sense. And it does make me giggle a little bit, that they didn't really match up the people to the, to the actual voice, the dubbing work and whatever. But yeah, it's still really, really great. And yeah. And like I said, the dubbing work is almost spot on. So yeah.
I'll tell you something I watched that was a real letdown.
Okay.
Because, I went in the loft, found a few old box sets that I never actually opened, and one of them was Friends.
Okay.
So I cracked it open, decided to watch some of it, and I've got to be honest, it was a bit of a letdown, because I realised that a lot of it is really just cheesy. It didn't, the nostalgia appeal that I once had for it, I'm not knocking it completely, but it just wasn't as great as I remembered it, so.
Yeah, I think that's it, isn't it? You grow up, and your choices of what you watch and things actually does change.
Mm-hmm.
There's not many things that sort of still are hands down, classic films or TV programs or whatever, but then there are the real classics. But it's like Only Fools and Horses. I don't think that is ever not going to be a classic program.
I've never... I used to like it, but it doesn't work for me anymore,
really?
At all. Strangely, yeah, most people love it, most people rave about it, which is cool, but it just, I can take it or leave it, really, so, yeah.
Oh, that's fair enough. But, yeah, like, to me, it's a hands down, it's always going to be a classic. When you got Del Boy who's leaning against the bar and then stands up, and then the bar gets basically the bar door.
The flappy thing gets lifted, yeah.
And then he literally just falls because he goes to lean back onto it and he falls straight through. And the way he falls is just so classic. I don't think I've ever kept something so almost so pointless in my brain, but it was such a brilliant moment. But I'm a raver for Only Fools and Horses.
Hey, if we were all the same, it would be so boring. So let's, it's all a good thing.
Yeah, definitely. So did you want to get into a couple of weird and wonderful stories of the week?
Weird and wonderful stories?
Yeah?
Yes, please.
Okay, so, right. Have you got any, James?
No, I think I'm going to have to defer to you and doff my cap to you on this one.
Oh, for God's sake, I've got to do all the work again.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, so how do we feel about this headline? Mum drinks sperm smoothies to fight off coronavirus.
Well, she'll have good protein levels. Some very bizarre woman who before was discussing sperm smoothies helping her health-wise, so it's probably the same woman. But what's her argument why she's doing this? Why does she think this helps?
Well, let's see what it says. A mother or two believes that drinking smoothies with a shot of sperm have helped, it says, but has helped to boost her immune system and is helping prevent coronavirus. Tracy Kiss, 32, says she's not had a cold or flu for 3 years because of her concoction, which is made using donations from her boyfriend, and she takes 3 shots a week. I wonder if she can get pregnant that way, because that's, she did say she's a mum, so maybe she's pregnant because of doing this.
I think I need to explain biology to you off recording.
All right. So she takes 3 shots a week. Woo. Okay. Tracy, a professional trainer from Aylesbury, said, I found a free and vegan-friendly alternative method to boost the body's immune system. You don't always know what is in pharmaceutical medicine. It is much better for the body to drink something that doesn't contain chemicals, which I agree with, but I'm not drinking somebody's sperm. It isn't much different to a mother breastfeeding her newborn to give them the nutrients that they need. It isn't for everyone, but it's packed full of vitamins, and I haven't had a cold or flu ever since drinking it in 2017. I also put it on my face to clear up my skin. Well, there you go. There is a bit more, but we can have your thoughts while...
Well, my thoughts are, I don't think I'll be trying my own essence. I also don't think I'll be plastering my own essence over my face. I think I'll stick to taking the vitamin D tablets that I take that allegedly will ward off things. For some reason, this woman thinks it works for her. Great. I don't really see how it works, but, maybe, maybe there is some faith to it, but truth to it, but I'm not going to find out. The interesting thing is that should her personal training career fail, I'm sure she can get a job in bukkake porn.
Lovely. And James, which
would be a win-win situation for her. So if she enjoys doing this stuff, she's going to love her work. So
yeah, she will enjoy her work, definitely. But James, I think you're being a bit narrow-minded there, I have to say, and you need to be a little bit more exploring, okay? So instead of using those tissues, just wipe it on your face, all right?
So yeah, and I should be whipping myself up a smoothie this afternoon. Yeah, I think not, but
well, at least you got a stir stick. Oh dear. Right. Tracy continued, it is best to consume semen as close to production as possible to get the most nutrients and benefits. But I often store it in the freezer in an ice cube tray.
Oh, God.
as my partner, who does not wish to be named, funny enough,
No surprise there.
and I are in a long-distance relationship. So he has to come down every so often just to leave his specimen. So she
Just to give a sample.
Yeah. And how is she coping at the moment then, if he's in a long-distance relationship, which he's probably off with somebody else who's normal? How are they, is he popping it in the post? Because they can't see each other, can they?
I've got a worst case scenario for you.
Okay.
A far worst case scenario. So when this lockdown all ends, and she decides that she wants to have friends over, and they're saying, hey, let's have a drink. And she goes to cool the drink, and she puts the wrong ice cubes in the drink. Oh, yes, you know it will happen. They go, tastes this drink doesn't taste right.
Why is my wine milky?
Yeah. What's this stuff floaty on the surface of my drink?
Oh, no. Right, she continues with...
Dear God, this woman's gone on and on over it. It's not...
I know. To be fair, though, I have been pausing for discussion as well. The quantity depends on how hydrated my boyfriend is on the day. I sometimes have a shot or disguise the taste in a smoothie with fresh berries and bananas. I am strictly looking at this from a health perspective. I think a lot of people try new ways to boost their immune system when they start presenting symptoms, but it's too late. You must make immune system strong prior to an illness to ensure you can fight it off. Right, well, let's see what else she's got to say. The smoothies aren't any different to drinking honey and lemon water when you have a sore throat. I beg to differ.
Yeah, I beg to differ. I think I'll stick with the original honey and lemon plan.
Yeah, or blackcurrant, whichever, but yeah, that's fine. Most people think I am joking because it is too good to be true that I...
So was that joking or jerking?
No, it was joking. But yeah, you're quite right. Most people think I am joking, not jerking, because it seems too good to be true that I am being so open about a taboo subject, but I am not. I am not joking.
She isn't, is she? She's not joking. She's deadly serious.
Yeah. I think that's pretty much all we need to cover about that. But I have to say that there are some wonderful comments here, which I actually read out as well.
I mean, I would say give her a hand, but that's more what a boyfriend's going to need, so...
So a cleverly worded person's name is Ivor Grumble. Some people are so desperate for attention. This is one of the comments.
Yeah.
Okay. Then she should write to Donald Trump and tell him about this, is another one. It doesn't taste like bleach after all.
Yeah, I don't think Donald Trump's bonkers enough to want to try this, but keep going.
No. Somebody's written it's not vegan friendly. Unless she's, and then somebody underneath has put unless she's dating a vegetable.
Yeah, jerking off a carrot, maybe.
Yeah. Okay, so that will do with the comments. Maybe I'll put a couple of pictures up of that, but we'll see what happens with that. But I have got another story as well, which I'm just pulling up now. This one was sent to my mum from my auntie, and I absolutely loved it when my mum was reading it out, and I said, you have to send that to me because we need to cover that on the podcast. So
I just want to say thank God it wasn't the smoothie one.
No. Yeah, although she probably would have as well, so but yeah, this one is very good. So the headline reads, Fugitive caught after blowing his cover with a fart. What do you think this story is about, James?
I'm assuming the person was somehow trying to hide themselves, but tell me more.
A wanted man who hid in bushes in an attempt to evade police blew his cover when he farted. Realising officers on the scent were closing in, the suspect had fled into the woodland near Harworth in Nottinghamshire. His location remained a mystery until they heard a noise believed to be the sound of somebody breaking wind.
Yeah, definitely not silent, but deadly, just deadly.
Yeah. He was arrested alongside another suspect found hiding behind a fireplace in a nearby home. One of the pursuing officers said, "I was almost out of wind." Sorry. "I was almost out of wind running, but luckily the suspect still had some." That really tickled me. He continued with, "I heard him let rip, followed by noises to a bush." Nottinghamshire police said 35-year-old man was arrested after failing to appear at court, and a 30-year-old man was arrested in relation to other matters. So they managed to catch him because he farted. So there we go. That's the end of that story. Short but sweet, but that's all you need sometimes. I really like that story. I hope everybody else did too.
He's clearly getting enough bran and roughage in his diet, probably too much.
Yeah. How embarrassing as well.
Yeah, I feel very sorry for whoever his cellmate will be.
The Farting Fugitive.
Yeah.
Might be an episode title. Actually, might be an episode title. There you go. Well, I think at this point, it might be a good time to end the episode if you are in agreement, James.
I think so. I think we've definitely been talking over Codswallop.
Yeah. Oh, look at you stealing my line. I better not leave him for too long next time.
Yeah, I'll go power mad.
Yeah. Well, I think that we've definitely been talking enough Codswallop this week. I'm Gemma, and I'm super happy to be back. So thank you for all your patience, and I love your little Salty Tadpoles ears. And thank you for supporting us in the last sort of 6 weeks. We've really appreciated it. And over to you, James.
And I am here. I'm back. Well, I've not really been gone, but yeah, it's been absolutely wonderful recording with you, Gemma. And I look forward to see how things go. And stay safe, Salty Tadpoles, and whatever you do, don't end up in a smoothie.
No, don't end up in the smoothie.